All right, hello everybody. I hope everybody's having a great Saturday so far, or Sunday if it's the future where you live. I am Android Dreams, and today we have a 1 and 2 matchup between ptoil and Moo Didi, and our runners have decided on 100%. So we are going to see the wide world of Zebus today. And today being a super Saturday as far as the multi-category tournament goes, I think this is race 4/5 out of 7. There is another race happening right now as well. I believe that one is on SpeedGaming, the original SpeedGaming. So it looks like our runners are getting ready to start here. So hopefully pretty soon we'll see the countdown in the SRL and we'll be on our way. Okay, both runners have readied up. We have our countdown and we should see our runners getting going any moment here, starting on Series Station, something for myself doing commentary I'm not used to talking about. But by the way, your jobs today will be to fact check the things that I'm saying, and I can assure you, you will be quite busy. All right, Moo Didi just doing some last minute settings checks. And here we go. And of course, big shout out to the sponsors of the Super Metroid multi-category tournament, Balls Guarana, as well as Mega Cat Studios. I remember having Balls Guarana like back in middle school. It was like one of the first, it was like an energy drink that was out before Red Bull was even around. So some old school stuff. Tastes like Sprite from what I remember. It's pretty good. So, but big thanks to both of our sponsors putting up some cash prizes for this tournament. Okay, and we have our runners both waiting for the undefeated Ridley to appear. Of course, Ridley is Infinity and Zero on Series Station fights. Didi is just slightly ahead, so his door is going to open first, but it looks like maybe less than a second. And then our runners are going to be waiting for doors to open, dodging steam and falling ceiling tiles, and trying not to get motion sickness from the station swaying back and forth on the last little bit of it. A little bit of steam RNG. All right, Didi slipping a little bit on the first jump, running into some steam, but he is going to get onto the platform. 39.45. ptoil comes out just slightly ahead. But of course, there is a lot of race ahead of both runners. And hopefully we'll see a nice and close race between the two. All right, ptoil landing the ship onto the surface of Zebus first. Going to be running to the left, as is tradition. Doing some arm pumps on the flat part. Falling down some shafts. It's all pretty standard so far. As far as 100% goes, I will be upfront about not really knowing the routing of this category. So I will be learning as we go. Looks like Mumudidi is utilizing the Moonfall, and I don't believe ptoil is. So Didi is going to be able to make up the time that was lost in Series Station. And just like that, our runners are back within a couple seconds of each other on their way to Morph Ball. From what I've seen, watching some of the other tournament races so far, 100%, I believe that most of the time the runners will be routing to go all the way to Crocomire, basically. So they'll make stops at all the way through Big Pink, go down the Red Tower, face off with Kraid, and then go to get the grapple beam. Seems to be where most of the runners route. And then they will head back to the wrecked ship with their speed booster, full clear the wrecked ship, and then do a wraparound back into Criteria and clean up Brinstar. And then from there, I'm not real sure where they go, to be honest. I would imagine they would just go straight back down to Lower Norfair, but maybe Meridia takes place before that so they can have Plasma Beam for a faster Lower Norfair. That would make sense. That would make the GT fight much easier, as well as the Ridley fight. A lot faster, too. Here our runners go back into the pit room, which is a very difficult room, in my opinion, to navigate backwards. Before we go to the climb, ptoil going with a right side climb. Mumudidi also going to do a right side climb, so they'll be zapping these space pirates on their way up the shaft here. And then they'll head into the parlor. And ptoil is first into the Bomb Chorizo hallway. Of course, Bomb Chorizo fights are mandatory in this tournament. Another thing that I was not used to, but I have been practicing my 80%, so I actually know how to do this fight, kind of, now. So one thing that you can do to make sure that the Bomb Chorizo lines up is if you see that first square, like in the background that Bomb Chorizo is in, if you line up your back shoulder with like the dashed line that's closest to Bomb Chorizo, he jumps backwards pretty much every time, which allows you to set up your shots. So you can do like 5 normal shots, get ready for the Bomb Chorizo to shoot his little orbs, take those out and grab some missiles. Try to stagger the missiles you grab so you can grab them in multiple sets, but you basically do 5 regular shots, 4 regular missiles, grab more missiles, and then you finish them off with 3. As long as you finish him off over 100 damage, you will miss the animation where his head falls off. But both runners having excellent Bomb Chorizo fights. So now they're going to CWJ, or not, see, that's a different thing. Now they're going to do, the quick morph out of Bomb Chorizo. I can't remember the name of that trick all of a sudden, but I'm sure it'll come back to me after it's not important anymore. But this is a great opportunity for me personally to see how Hundo is really routed while talking about it. Probably will make it stick in my memory a little bit more. So ptoil's going to go down to early supers just like normal. Now, what I'll be seeing for myself is if Alcatraz, thank you, Ghost Fox Shadow. I don't know why that was lost on me all of a sudden, but it was. Happens. Okay, so it looks like they grab early supers and head out, and the Brinstar Reserve will be left as part of the cleanup. Oh no, ptoil has run back after getting supers, needing the supers to open the door. So I guess they do this first. So this room will not be visited again when they return to Brinstar for cleanup. So they're going to grab the missile pack that's the 2 missile packs that are behind the Chorizo statue. I imagine we'll be seeing some attempts at the reverse mock ball, which is not an easy trick. Here goes ptoil. Looks like he's got to jump through the door. Short hop mock ball. And he gets his reverse mock ball through Brinstar Reserve, or out of Brinstar Reserve. Lays his bomb before he goes and picks up that last missile pack, and then that's the end of early supers for ptoil. He's going to head back, or over to Big Pink. Here goes DD. Let's see if he gets his reverse mock ball. Ooh, doesn't quite get it, so he's going to have to go up. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. But as I said before, that is not an easy trick. So I would imagine ptoil is just going to head down to charge beam. I wouldn't expect him to go pick up the missiles that are over by Mission Impossible until he actually has to go over there. And it looks like he's also leaving the charge missiles. I'm going to guess that he will pick those up on the cleanup as well. I have heard that that's a little bit faster. I'm not sure what makes it faster personally, but take that for what it is. ptoil going through the Green Hill Zone. Also leaving pipe missiles for later. Edie grabs the charge beam. ptoil over the new bridge. Takes out that last cack. Is on his way down the red tower. As DD follows in ptoil's footsteps here. If you are not already, please do give these runners a follow. Both very accomplished Super Metroid runners. I know both of them from the randomizer league that we have for Super Metroid. So yeah, if you don't already, I'll get their Twitch handles in the chat and go ahead and give these guys a follow. All right, so the Spazer Beam has been picked up by ptoil. Boom, DD following right now. And ptoil was trying to find that bomb block in the floor, but after a couple tries wasn't able to locate it, just went out the way that was entered. ptoil doing a running jump from the ledge below to get into Kraid's section. It's gonna jump over. Oh, he's gonna go for a missile shot. So in that room, you can try to jump over that first key hunter who usually swoops down at you. Jump over him, and then do a downward shot and just like land in that little shot block hole. But you can also just shoot one missile. One missile will take care of the key hunters in that room. Here we go. ptoil is going to enter the Kraid lair. Let's see what kind of strategy is used to attempt this quick kill. You can go with a charge shot. If you use the charge shot, you can lock Kraid's hand down, but then you have to use 4 supers to be able to take care of Kraid. But ptoil is going with the missile strategy. So when Kraid is slowly rising up, he's going to put his hand up twice, and after he puts it down after the second time, you want to jump and fire 2 missiles, one to get him to open his mouth, the second one to do 100 damage, followed up by 3 supers. That'll deal your 1,000 points of damage that will prevent Kraid from standing up, and as long as you can get it in that window, you won't have to let Kraid stretch his legs. So ptoil takes care of it, no problem. DD does a little bit of a delayed quick kill, but uses a 4 super strategy to take care of him. So both runners are going to have their various suits, about 12 minutes, and they'll be on their way down to Norfair. ptoil making quick work getting back through that key hunter room, which gives me absolute fits when I play 80%. So I'm also going to be kind of checking some strategies here from these guys to try to make my game a little bit better. All right, ptoil grabbing the Kraid E-Tank. Of course, the only item that can't be picked up is the Kraid missiles. I think they're missiles. I play too much randomizer to know all the vanilla stuff, to be honest. But that will be something that they'll have to return to get later. All right, ptoil falling down into the business center to go and grab high jump boots. Gonna grab the E-Tank on the way in. Probably try to take care of this fire nova. There we go, takes care of it, shoots the door open so it doesn't have to wait for the nova or sova, I can't remember which one it is. Doesn't have to wait for it to come around or go kill it on the way. We'll be able to grab those missiles on the way up and exit this room and not have to come back here, not have to waste time trying to kill that enemy. All right, ptoil exits the can room and goes back into the business center here. And we'll be headed to the what I usually refer to as the 3 Hellrun rooms, but this is basically like the cathedral here in the second room, Cathedral Way. And I think we will see them, go down and get the cathedral missiles on their way, because I don't believe that there's any reason to come back into this room after they get Speed Booster, because they can use Speed Booster to really navigate around the rest of the map, or the rest of Norfair, to get back to anywhere they need to go. When they return to go to Lower Norfair, I would imagine that they'll take the Croc Speedway, go grab ice, go grab the missile pack that's over there, and then head on down to Lower Norfair. But ptoil is into Bubble Mountain. He's going to go have the 4th and a half boss fight here with King Kak on the top of the mountain, but just shoots a missile into him and says sayonara. We'll head over to grab the speed booster. Didi grabbing the cathedral missiles. Ptoil arm pumping vigorously through the speedway. Gonna grab the missile pack on the way in. As Mubudidi goes to challenge King Kak. Ooh, has the pseudo screw taken out by the waver instead of using it on King Kak. So it does take a little bit of damage, but of course not the end of the world there. Now Didi is heading into Speedway, and we'll have a little bit of a high five. ptoil running at breakneck speeds would probably, in real life, take Didi's arm off, but of course, thankfully we're in a video game, and that's not going to happen. ptoil getting the nice D-boost off of the bats, or whatever those are called, to head quicker to that door. He's going to go into the double chamber room and pick up a missile pack and head over to the wave beam. And there's a couple elements to these multi-category races that I'm personally not used to, as most of my Super Metroid experience revolves around the randomizer. So it's my understanding that the runners can be watching the stream, so they can know exactly how far behind or ahead they are. They can also be reading chat. So like if let's say that one of our runners happens to forget something, if our chat talks about it, because I probably won't remember, not knowing how to do 100%, but if somebody mentions it and I say it out loud, then they might have a reminder to, oh no, I need to go here. And so that could prevent them from not actually getting 100%. So that's definitely something that I'm not quite used to as far as doing commentary for matches. ptoil heading down to Crocomire. Having wave beam, not going to have to worry about doing any gate glitches with any missiles to get down here. Mumutiti exiting the double chamber room and is going to be headed in the same direction. But everybody get your favorite Crocmire emotes into the chat. So we have our first Croc sighting. ptoil looks like is going to be going with a couple of missile, super missile combinations before switching over to the charge beam. Let's see, do I have a Croc emote? I think I do. Oh yeah. They got that one. There we go. There they are. There's the Croc emotes we know and love. Alright, ptoil has bullied Crocmire into the acid. We'll be grabbing this E-tank behind Croc. I know that there is a strategy that you can employ here where you do a wraparound shot. Not sure if that's something that either of our runners will be going for. But you could do the wraparound shot, which will open the door on the other side of the spike wall, and then do a shine spark over to get the second alpha power bombs. In this case, they're first alpha power bombs. And both runners will be doing a cleanup. Oh, it looks like ptoil did do the wraparound shot. So that door is open. And there you go. There's the shine spark over. But the runners will be cleaning up the Croc area. So we've got the cosine, or whatever people decided to call that in the race that I watched the other day. There's missile pack there. There's a missile pack before. Grapple beam, which I think is Indiana Jones, or maybe that's something else, but there's missiles there. And then, of course, grapple beam. And that will do it for the Croc area. But ptoil is going to... Wow, that's a really short charge. It's going to grab these missiles up here first. And then we'll do the long jump over to the grappling beam. Grappling beam, besides its intended uses of grappling, will really have some other stuff come into play. If our runners would like, they can use that to kill Dragon if they're not interested in trying to get a blue suit to do the reverse halfie. They can also use it for a much easier entrance into the spring ball area, so they don't have to ice clip off the Puyos, which is not easy. And Mumutiti is just going to do a running jump up to these missiles as opposed to charging a shine spark, so conserving a little bit of health. And also, I'm not really sure if it saves time. You do save at least a second from not bonking, and of course you have to completely stop your momentum to get the shine spark before using it, so that might actually be a couple of seconds faster than sparking up there. But Didi has grabbed the grapple beam. It's going to head over to the cosine room. ptoil's going to farm a little bit here, just to be on the safe side. Didi with a nice shine spark through to get the missiles in the cosine room. Alright, ptoil has filled up everything and is going to get on out of here. Didi farming just a little bit along the way. Shine sparking back up the Croc Tower. And some intended grapple use. Didi sparking up the Cac Tower through Croc Escape. And ptoil's back into the bottom of Business Center. He's gonna head up to the elevator. Head to the wreck ship. Didi doesn't quite get that second grapple, but can, with the high jump boots and the speed booster, can get just enough speed to do a little ledge jump or a little wall jump off that ledge to make his way back up, not have to wrap all the way back around to use grapple beam again. ptoil is going to look to spark through this room here, the bottom of red tower. Gets it, no problem. Now we have a red tower climb, which is something I'm not thrilled with. I spent like 2 hours grinding this room on Thursday, but it's gonna wait, do his hero shot. Oh, doesn't quite get the top platform, so is going to have to work his way up there just to be able to shoot it, because the window is a little bit unknown after the rippers have already started moving. The rippers can be taken care of with a super missile. You could also like do one wall jump, mid-air morph, and lay a power bomb to take out three of them usually, to just kind of clear the way. You can always refill on these little things right before alpha power bombs. The ptoil is going to go for the deboost strats off these little yellow things. Grab the missiles behind first before grabbing his second set of power bombs. There we go. Didi went ahead and took out some of the rippers with a power bomb. And that red tower reverse climb after doing Norfair is not simple. There is a lot of technical stuff going on as far as optimally doing ledge grabs to get up most of it, hitting that hero shot, and of course getting the right window on the hero shot to avoid all the rippers and still hit the shot block, and then actually jump through them. So ptoil using a power bomb to take care of those big side hoppers. Didi using some morph ball bouncing strats to get back through the alpha power bombs room, but does take a hit on one of the spikes and bounces into the flower there. So it does get munched on just a little bit. Let's see, ptoil not reopening that orange door there. I suppose they don't really have any reason to go back through that door though, so able to conserve a power bomb there, avoiding the mistake of just relying on muscle memory if they've been playing a category like any percent. Because after the wrecked ship, instead of going back down, they're going to go back through Criteria, clean up Criteria and Brinstar. ptoil is the first to enter the wrecked ship. He's going to go over and grab spooky missiles, I would imagine. Of course, with the wrecked ship being inactive, these missile platform or the spike platforms don't drop, and the spikes on the floor are also not activated. So, much safer and faster to go through the room with it powered off. And I believe that's the only item that's actually available in the wrecked ship before Phantoon has been killed. We'll see if ptoil goes for the speedball to get into the Phantoon lair, and gets it, no problem. And we've got a elephant ghost sighting from ptoil. It's going to turn off the, well, turns off wave, but is intending to turn off spazer to do what are those things called? X factors. That's the name of that strategy. But gets a fast from Phantoon. Sets up very nicely, and I believe hits all 4 of those X factors on Phantoon. Another fast from ptoil. Elects to go for a super shot, but looks like didn't quite do enough damage, and enrages Phantoon. So Fantoon is having a fit right now on ptoil's screen, but ptoil is using the pseudo screw to just kind of pseudo screw through the flames, so it doesn't really have to worry about much. Another thing that you could do in that room if you're in that situation is you could try to time your shots perfectly and hit all the flames at once and then refill a bunch of stuff. And it looks like, yeah, just one more missile for ptoil, so that is really unfortunate when that happens. Otherwise, I think pretty reasonable fight. Definitely better than my fights with Fantoon, so we'll give ptoil that at least. And we've got Mumudidi turning off Spazer, also going to be using X Factor strategies. And ptoil using a power bomb. I'm gonna open up the right side supers area first. And Didi having a nice X Factor there too. I think hitting all 4 of those. So second round, no fast pattern on the second round for Didi. ptoil getting 2 fasts. Oh, Didi having trouble getting into the window where you can shoot Fantoon with a missile in the eye before he starts playing peekaboo. And there's a second X Factor, and that is a dead Fantoon for Mumudidi. Very nice fight. ptoil picking up the left side supers and wreck ship. And then heading into the sponge bathroom. Of course, speed booster and high jump boots not having to do that. But it's going to make its way into the spiky room of death. No problem. Gets through there. And it's going to grab the wrecked ship E-Tank. And ptoil being a little bit safe there, just making sure that they're lined up properly on those little platforms. Ooh, misses it on the way back, but with the grapple beam, of course, that room is a lot less daunting than if you don't have the grapple beam, which is a randomizer player, is definitely a thing that can happen. All right, and it looks like TD has forfeit in the SRL. Not happy with the play so far, which is understandable. Sometimes you're just not feeling how you're playing. So unfortunate for Mumudidi that's happened. But it looks like ptoil is gonna keep on trucking here. Gonna go over to grab these right side wrecked ship missiles. ptoil heads back through the attic, of course, taking care of all of the enemies, unlocking that door so it doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. Goes to shine spark up to grab the missiles in the sky. There we go. Go and grabs those. Is going to grab the other missile pack that's sitting out here in Eastern Criteria, I guess you could call it. Mid-Eastern? It depends on if you count Forgotten Highway as true Eastern. Bugs, Mumudidi is just not having a good day with Super Metroid, so has decided to prefer to not continue forward, which, as I had said earlier, is just an understandable thing. There are times with speedrunning where the most simple things that you can know how to do just aren't simple for whatever reason that day. So we all have bad days. We all have good days. Unfortunately, Mumudidi just not having a good day. Toil's gonna use the missiles, which is the fastest way to back up these robots. Lays the power bomb to take care of the chorizo statue. It's gonna go get a shine spark going and grab the wrecked ship reserve. Oop, doesn't quite get there. Gonna go back on the treadmill. Does a diagonal spark up and does not fall into the crumple pit, successfully grabbing the reserve tank. Then we'll head over and grab the gravity suit. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Dee Dee. Hopefully things will improve for you. And if you guys want to help Dee Dee's day go a little bit better, make sure that you give Mumudidi and ptoil a follow if you're not following them already. But sometimes even on the worst days, just seeing that little number tick up just one by one even can make you feel better. Ooh, ptoil gets stuck in the shot block, but having bombs and power bombs and all sorts of other gadgets can go ahead and get out of there no problem. That's a horrible place to soft lock if you're playing randomizer. That one always feels really bad. But we'll see ptoil go and grab the criteria power bombs, and then there's another wraparound shot that can be done here to be able to spark all the way through Gauntlet. But it's going to grab a refill, possibly a save. We'll see. Of course, in the multi-category tournament, if the runners finish the game and they don't actually show 100% item pickup, they do forfeit unless they reload their last save and go and pick up what they missed and still continue to finish the game afterwards. So hopefully we will not see that from ptoil, and he'll take the time to grab everything. And if you guys see that in the intended route anything is missed, just go ahead and say it in chat so we can let him know. All right, here we go. Ptoil lining up. And is going to go ahead and go for the Shine Spark. And the door is open. Sparks all the way through. Is going to grab an E-Tank. And of course, at this point in going through the gauntlets, not necessarily so scary. They've got plenty of power bombs. They've got plenty of energy. Ooh, ptoil having a little bit of trouble with the shot blocks, but manages to land on the crumble box to be able to grab both these missiles. Otherwise, would probably end up routing around when going to Turian, but will not have to do that in this case. So nicely done by ptoil to do a slight recovery to not have to come back. It does some excellent turnaround strats on the other crumble box to fall through those a little bit faster. There are a couple animations that can allow you to go through crumble blocks without losing momentum. I know turning around is one of them. I believe morphing is the other one. But ptoil is going to get ready for some cleanup. Clean up. Everybody do your share. But it'll start with a visit to the Etacoons to grab a energy tank, a super missile pack, and a power bomb pack. And welcome everybody from SpeedGaming 6. Just to catch you up, we've got a race with ptoil and Mumudidi. Mumudidi, not having a good day, has decided to not continue in the race anymore. So we just got ptoil at this point running through. Already has taken care of the wrecked ship. Is going to be cleaning up Brinstar. Taking out some frogs. Using the spikes to deboost through this room. And there are our friends, the Etacoons, that don't look very friendly when you see them in this room at first, and they're singing the fanfare. But grabs the Etacoon's power bombs. It's going to go through for a mock ball out of this hole to not fall back down the shaft. Of course, the mock ball gets you enough speed to get over that the pit, so you don't have to climb up that shaft again. And now we'll see ptoil head into Big Pink, where ptoil can finish up collection of Mission Impossible regular missiles, super missiles, and spore spawn missiles, charge missiles, and waterway E-tank. And doesn't quite lay that power bomb far enough forward to take care of the other power bomb blocks before Mission Impossible. And we'll see ptoil possibly go for. We did see ptoil to hit those turnaround strategies on the crumble blocks earlier, so we might see that again to be able to exit Mission Impossible faster. Gets the turnaround, collects the power bombs. Now going to have to do a very tight jump to get back through there, and makes it out. And that is not an easy thing to do. The window of time to be able to perform that trick is not open for very long. Oh yeah, and this E-tank, forgot about the wave gate. Mumudidi has said that they are not having a very good day, and they just weren't playing well, and didn't care to continue, which is unfortunate. It's always nice. There was a lot of race left, and anything can happen, especially for a category like 100%. Of course, the routing is fairly defined, but boss fights can be pretty tricky still, even when you're collecting all the items. But at the same time, as I've said before, some days you're just not feeling it, and it's important to know when to call it quits. All right, ptoil reverses through the spore spawn supers. Of course, lining up that super shot to hit the super block off screen. lays a power bomb to go back into the charge beam area to go and grab the waterway E-tank. Having gravity suit already, you can just run straight through as intended. Doesn't have to do any tricks getting up on that platform there to do a short charge. And we'll see if ptoil goes for the clip through. And is going for the clip. And after a couple tries, just decides to bomb those bomb blocks as intended. But you can clip through by jumping onto those bomb blocks. You clip through the little platform that goes to the green door. Goes and grabs, lays a power bomb to open the orange door. Goes and grabs the Green Hill missiles. And then I would imagine after clearing more of the game, we'll see ptoil go the back way through back into the morph ball area to clean up that section of Brinstar. This is a 100% race, and Mumudidi was just having a rough go at the game and decided to not want to carry on. So nothing real specific that happened that caused that, but just not really feeling it. Here we have ptoil setting up for taking out this pipe. And is going to set up for this very tight short charge to get the... Ooh, nice. Very nicely done by ptoil to get the missiles in Main Street. And then I think we'll fall back down and go to grab the crab supers, or maybe crab supers are grabbed on the way out. I'm not real sure. We'll find out together. Or I'll find out. You might already know. All right, it's gonna go over to Mama Turtle first, grab the E-tank that's in here, and I think those are regular missiles on that right side. And they are regular missiles. ptoil uses a shine spark to go back through that room, continues the wall jumps up, beats the crab into the hole to go to the crab supers. Of course, having a lot of energy, you can just take the damage off that crab. Doesn't need to do use a power bomb there like you might see in RBO. And then we'll see ptoil use a spark, and then is going to head up here to the watering hole, I believe it's called. There is, on the way, there is one missile pack, and then in the watering hole itself, there's a super and a missile pack as well. But there is the first missile pack. And there are some interesting strategies for getting through, like the bug room on the way to the watering hole. There's some even more interesting strategies on the way back, as far as like where to jump and where to mock ball to keep your momentum and stuff like that, to get backwards through that hole that ptoil just went through, without spending too much time as far as like landing and trying to line it up. I don't know how to do them, but I've seen tutorials on them, and they are pretty interesting. there's so much technical movement in 100% run that you have to know to optimize the run. It's very impressive to watch people do. And then this room is another one that has some pretty interesting strategy as far as getting through it to beat out the crab that comes up, which is also got a very quick timing as far as getting in there perfectly. So ptoil is going to go to bot wound. Now I'm trying to visualize the route in my head, but wait and continue that thought. Ptoil's setting up for this super swaggy X Factor. And nails a 1-round fight on bot wound. That was very nicely done. But mentally for myself, going through the route from here, of course, going to go take care of Dragon, grab some stuff on the way as far as the bot wound E-Tank and the precious missiles go. And then we'll grab Space Jump. I would imagine... Let's see, you could go down... I'm trying to figure out how the sand pits are going to be routed. This is not a category that I am super familiar with the actual route of. Ptoil not quite keeping the Shine Spark long enough to get the halfy or full halfy, so is going to have to use some spike strategies to make it through this room faster, but actually navigates that pretty well. Gonna go grab these precious missiles before taking on Dragon. And enters the Dragon room. Is going to take out these little electricity shooters. And that's going to, when you missile those either 3 times or super missile them, it makes them stop shooting stuff at you. So in a normal fight, if you need to get a Shine Spark charge, or even if you're going to use X-Ray, like microwave strats, if you're playing GT Classic or Randomizer, it'll stop those things from shooting stuff at you. And ptoil is just going to go for Shine Spark and X Factor strategy here on Dragon. Most likely interested in getting a blue suit or even turning it into a spike suit to do a reverse halfy. Ooh, gets grabbed by Dragon, but wiggles out of it. Of course, just using the directional pad is the best way to get out of Dragon's clutches. And there we go. There's a spark to take care of Dragon. And ptoil setting up for the spike suit. I'm not quite sure if that was it. I'm not very familiar with that strategy, but did give it a go. And once we get out of the precious room, we'll see if the charge is stored for ptoil to use for the reverse halfy. And it looks like it wasn't, unless ptoil is planning on using that spark somewhere else. So it's just going to use traditional space jump strategies to get back through this room. And now we'll see if... I will be learning how this is actually routed. And it looks like ptoil is going to go back into the... something room? Wait. I think... So that E-Tank after bot wound is still there. I am not sure when that gets routed in, but I'm sure I will learn about it now. But ptoil is going to hit up one of the sand pits, it looks like. The right side sand pit. It's going to grab 2 items in here. And then I guess from here would probably go to Spring Ball. And then to Plasma. And then maybe reverses through the hallway, like the Cack Alley. It is okay. Thank you, John. So ptoil will be going back to that room then. So I would guess my assumption on routing would be correct from here, as far as going to grab Plasma and then reverse Cack Alley-ing to get that E-Tank and then go to the other sand pit before exiting Meridia. So I really am learning the actual hundo route here by doing commentary on this. But here's our well, he might be your friend, but here's Shacktool. Potentially your friend, Shacktool. And then what you do when you're visiting Shacktool is up to you. You can practice horizontal bomb jumps. You can practice short charges. Sometimes you just mess around and watch him dig. And ptoil going with speed keeps. It's a fun little thing to practice while you're in here. And allows... Oh, nope, there we go. Shacktool has been brutally murdered. Which is my preferred way to deal with Shacktool. And grabs a spring ball. Many people's favorite item in the game. And of course, in 100%, there is still plenty of opportunity to use spring ball strategies. And takes out Shacktool one more time. Just like you should. Didi decided to not continue the race. Has said that they were not having a very good day, and just didn't want to continue after a certain point. So unfortunately, Didi having a rough time. But of course, as I've said before, if you want to make Didi feel better, or help Didi feel better, and help out ptoil as well, give these guys a follow if you're not following them already. Alright, ptoil makes his way into the plasma beam room, now has to take care of these plasma pirates. Lays the power bomb. I believe that damages down a few of them. Maybe, I don't know what that does, to be honest. But takes out all the pirates and now heads back down and will be, I believe we'll be going back to the second sand pit. It damages the climbing one only, so you only need to shoot them once instead of twice. Okay. Thanks again, John. John is, of course, super reliable as far as knowing the nuances of Super Metroid. I know that John has been there many times for me in randomizer matches that I've been doing commentary on to fill me in on all the cool strats that you guys know that I don't. So thanks, John. I do always appreciate your help. There we go. The third time's the charm for that E-Tank. So ptoil goes ahead and grabs that, and now we'll be headed to the left side sand pit, which will finish out the clear of Meridia for ptoil. Oh, right, and these things. These two missile packs, the super missile pack and the regular missile pack. Ooh, ptoil does get a little bit caught in that sand, that right side sand, which is always a little bit scary when you're trying to head over to the left side sand pit. Because, of course, when you're in the middle of panicking, that's when you usually end up going down there and having a bad time. But ptoil is able to make it out. It's going to utilize Spring Ball to make it through this section quite easily, grab the reserve tank, and the missile pack that's here in the sand pit. And that does it. Those are all of the items for ptoil and Meridia. And now ptoil can carry on to Norfair, go grab Ice Beam and a missile pack, and then head over to Lower Norfair. And there we go. The super gate has been opened. Ptoil is going to head on back down into Norfair. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. On the way back into Norfair, it's going to go grab the Kraid missiles. The only item left in this section that had to be left here because they did not have power bombs earlier. And Spring Ball bounces off the crumble block to avoid having to wait for the crumble animation on the next 3. And now we'll continue to Norfair. And yes, if you do want more information on what the happenings of the Super Metroid multi-category tournament, the link has been posted in the Twitch chat. And again, shout outs to our sponsors, Balls of Guarana and Mega Cat Studios, for putting up a small purse of prize pool for this, which is pretty cool. I believe overall the prize pool is $750. So there is some money for our runners to get at if they are able to make it through. Ptoil grabs the Ice Beam and is going to go head to the Croc Speedway, grab a missile pack that's in there. Ooh, and just barely bonks on the door. So he's going to have to use Space Jump to go over and get the missile pack, but really not a big deal. Has a lot of ways to recover in that room in case anything were to go wrong. You can always Spring Ball bounce off the crumble blocks to get back up there if you're really desperate. Of course, Space Jump also making that much easier to deal with. And ptoil is going to go ahead and keep the momentum to go through the room before the Nutella refill. So that's very nicely done. Of course, have to shoot your shot before you really run through the rest of those speed blocks in the Croc Speedway, and then time your jump perfectly to be able to get through the door and continue the space jump. Let's see, so ptoil is going to be going down into Lower Norfair and will be headed left, and that will take ptoil to Golden Chorizo. There is a missile pack that can only be accessed from the left side, if you're not familiar with the routing of Super Metroid. Most of the time, except for in Hundo and possibly map completion, or if you're doing something where you're collecting all the missiles in Lower Norfair for a bingo card, which I'm not even sure is a option on the bingo card, but I assume maybe it is. Usually you don't really see people go and grab that item unless they're doing like full randomizer, or SMZ3 is another one. Well, people will at least check it when they go into Golden Chorizo to see if they need the loop around. And ptoil is using the spring ball bounce to make sure to not fall through those crumble blocks to have to loop around a second time. And is going to go ahead and open up the super spot and is going to get ready for a fight with Golden Chorizo, which is really not super difficult at this point. Yeah, there's this sweet spot here in front of that pillar where as long as you're crouched there, you can just fire charge shots straight up, and Golden Chorizo can't do anything to you. Now is going to go grab that super missile pack, and will likely not grab any of the items for refill. I think one of the interesting things about watching 100%, having at least never done one before, is that after a certain point, you don't have to worry about what drops or what's going on. Managing your energy is really not even an issue. You just kind of boss rushing and remembering to pick up everything along the way. Of course, there's so much nuance to the routing of this category, though, as far as going to multiple places multiple times, remembering what to pick up and when to pick them up. For example, ptoil still has to go through and pick up like the Billy Mays missiles and the old Tori, or the stuff around Morph Ball. I believe that there's also like Shaft supers left that will be routed in basically last. But just remembering all the different ways that you have to go to get all the stuff, I would think is very difficult to keep the focus for as long as you have to in Hundo. And ptoil makes his way into the I think everybody calls that Mickey Mouse missiles. I'd prefer that we don't get sued by Disney, but I don't know. Come after me, Walt. Let's see what you got. Actually, please don't. You've got expensive lawyers. Anyways, and is into the amphitheater, I believe that this room is called. Of course, nothing to pick up in here, so just space jumping around a little bit, and is now able to head to the depths of Lower Norfair to face off with Ridley. Let's see, items in this area include power bombs of shame, Ridley's E-tank, and that's really it. It's down here besides Ridley. Of course, on the way back, there will be 3-4 missile packs and another E-tank at Fireflies. And then, of course, ptoil has to remember to grab the missiles at the base of Bubble Mountain. So there's another, one of those onesie, twosie items that you could very easily forget to route back in if you just lose focus for just a little bit of time in this run. ptoil is going for the lining up behind the metal ninja pirates to double hit the charge shot to take care of them. And has so much stuff, doesn't have to worry about refilling before the Ridley fight. And with the full beam combination that ptoil has, this is 20 shots here to Ridley, so I'm sure ptoil will make quick work of the Space Pelican. Having some trouble getting Ridley to turn around on the pogos, which does happen every once in a while, but gets it that time. So now is going to be able to spend some time on the left side of this room, just blasting Ridley with charge shots. And Ridley just not interested in turning around. Sometimes you can kind of manipulate how Ridley does his pogos. The goal is to get him to the right side, and then if you jump and shoot, Ridley's fairly likely, I'm not sure if it's guaranteed, but is more likely to turn around to allow you to stand on that left side and blast some charge shots away. But ptoil takes care of Ridley, so all of the bosses are now down for ptoil, excuse me. And the remainder of ptoil's run will be collecting items and heading to Turian. So last two E-tanks for ptoil are going to be Firefleas and Blue Brinstar before Billy Mays, the E-tank in the ceiling. Let's see, what else is left for ptoil? I believe that Norfair Reserve might be routed in after Ridley as well. I don't believe I remember our runners going there. And ptoil just missing that speedball, like, seemed like was probably just a couple frames from getting the echoes there. It seemed like that was really close. But just relying on regular bombs at this point. And of course, has Spring Ball to help jump through that little section. We'll take out the other three key hunters. People have a lot of different names for those guys. 3 amigos or 3 blind mice or something else, probably some other names, but grabs the Firefleet E-tank. And running through the dark here a little bit after taking out some of those Firefleas. Of course, we will see the very top of that room again fully lit after ptoil wraps all the way around to grab that missile tank that is locked behind here. Of course, using Spring Ball to navigate this section fairly easily. Oh, and that's a power bomb pack. There we go. So power bomb pack, locked power bomb pack picked up here for ptoil. And those little slopes that ptoil just kind of like bonked on, those just treat you so poorly. Power bombs in jail. Ooh. Nice spin jump without actually moving forward there to get through to Franker Z missiles, I think this is. And ptoil has finished the lower Norfair cleanup. And there's a couple items here in Bubble Mountain to grab. So here we go, ptoil heading into the first room before Norfair Reserve. Of course, this missile pack that is being picked up now, the reserve tank, and another missile pack hidden in the shop block. And then I believe the base of Bubble Mountain has a missile pack that we have not collected yet as well. And then that should do it for Norfair, if I'm thinking about this correctly. Yeah, we saw Cathedral, I know that. Yeah, I think that takes care of it. Ptoil's gonna head back. No, that's true. This is the only visit to the Frog Speedway, as Croc Escaped was used to exit Norfair the first time. Yeah, I'm getting old route and hundo routing mixed up, and I'm just watching. So we'll see ptoil do reverse Green Hill Zone. Oh yeah, that's what it's called. I knew there was some fancy name for like keeping your... Oh yeah, X-ray. Gotta get the X-ray scope still. The reverse slinky, which is a really, really complicated strategy, and is very fun to see when it's executed well. Alright, ptoil getting a little bit of speed using the iframes from the spikes. Gonna space jump out of there. Moo forfeit before he died. Just hasn't been having a good day, and not interested in continuing on any further. But forfeit in the wrecked ship on the way to the wrecked ship E-Tank. So I believe forfeit in Spiky Room of Death. These pesky large side hoppers. And just short on the echoes there as well. But ptoil grabbing the power bomb pack here behind Morph Ball. And we'll head over to Billy Mays. Of course, there are 4 items over in this area right now for ptoil to grab. There's the E-tank in the ceiling. There's the second missile pack for players that run over there when you first start playing this game. And of course, the 2 items in the Billy Mays room. And we do get to see one of my favorite rooms, personally, the John Cena Bridge. Big fan of the John Cena Bridge. And ptoil taking up Billy Mays on his "but wait, there's more" offer. And of course, Nintended strats used for the E-tank in the ceiling there with high jump boots or ice beam. No need to deboost off the little lettuce leaf there to grab that at this point. Ptoil is going to head up back into Old Turian with the remaining items for pickup being the missiles below Mother Brain, or Old Mother Brain, the Shaft Supers, and I believe 230 missiles will wrap it up here. And, we might see ptoil decide to go do a ship refill just to make sure that all of the items have been grabbed as a safety, just to not have to run around the map again. But we'll see what ptoil decides to do. Maybe having done multiple hundo runs before, it just knows, like, yeah, I got it all. I'm not worried about it. But we'll see what ptoil decides to do here. Grabs the Shaft Supers. And we'll head over to the dental plan. Dental plan. Goes for like a little diagonal bomb jump there to get into the little hole. That's right, I don't know. Lisa needs braces. And there's the 230 missiles. Named 230 missiles after my inability to grab them at any time before that if I ever did a hundo run, I'm sure. I think that's why they're named that. Ptoil is not going to do a ship refill check. It's just going to continue on through. Confident that all of the items, all 100% of the items have been picked up. And is entering Golden 4. Of course, has to wait for the Golden 4 animation, which is sometimes something I'm still not used to. But of course, this room can be used to practice horizontal bomb jumps or just regular bomb jumps. IBJs, as ptoil is demonstrating right here. I always think it's interesting to see in rooms like this or Shack Tool what people decide to do to entertain themselves / practice for something else in the future. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty fancy, ptoil. Doing descending infinite bomb jump. All right, ptoil, 4 Metroid rooms coming up. And doesn't quite freeze that second one, so has to take a little bit more time on it. But first Metroid room has been completed. Of course, the second one, you just kind of like fall down here and let the Metroids collect into each other, and you can get them with one missile as long as they're close enough. A really nice third Metroid room from ptoil. That one feels very good rhythmically if you can get it right. And then groups up the last set of Metroids very nicely. And has plenty of ammo to go ahead and get through the Zebatites. I would imagine ptoil will do the second Zeb skip, so he doesn't have to turn off screw attack. Oh, or is turning it off now, so we'll just do the traditional first Zeb skip. Setting up for baby skip here. Getting the baby to swirl around. Takes out the little moss. Oh, and just happens to get grabbed by the baby. So is going to have to take a refill. And faces left, which is a shame. That's okay, ptoil. That's not an easy thing to do either. At least in my opinion, that's not easy to do. Yeah, if you should be ashamed of anything, it should be the 40 frames that you lost. That you'll never get back. While ptoil is navigating through the rest of Turian here, there are 2 more races, I believe, for today. Let me pull up the info on those, because one of them is our other 3-0 match. Three more, I am corrected. Thank you, Tracy. But yes, we have at 7 p.m., we have Aussie and Zost. And we already have Hockey Towner for commentary on that one. 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, we have Nintoaster and FBS, or Fruit Bat Salad. We have Polar Bear Bunny lined up for commentary there. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have Cross Product and Kishmo. And we have Tracy lined up for commentary there. So a lot of good, hopefully good races for the rest of the day. All right, ptoil is into the Mother Brain 2 fight already. 20 shots with this beam combo will take care of it. And is going to has already turned off the Varia suit, so once they've completed this, they're going to damage themselves down to have 6 full E-tanks. There we go. Excuse me, 7 full E-tanks. And now does not want to be touching the floor when the baby comes in. So he's going to get zapped down here by Mother Brain with the Rainbow Beam. Takes 1 more thing of damage to get the under 100, which will get the baby to come in. And then now we'll be making sure that they're off the ground when the baby comes in. Because if you're on the ground, that's when you'll get stuck to the ground for this cutscene to continue. By doing this allows ptoil to be able to shoot charge shots into Mother Brain while the cutscene is happening, which will drastically shorten the Mother Brain 3 fight. If you do it perfect, I believe it's only 1 hyper beam shot. So we see ptoil getting started on this, and there are a couple things that you have to keep aware of. To not get stuck. You can get soft lock doing this trick. I know that you can get caught on like Mother Brain's leg if you stay too close after Mother Brain starts standing up. I think there's a couple other pain points that I'm not really super familiar with, not knowing how to do this trick myself, but something that our Hundo and our GT Classic experts and some randomizer players, of course, are pretty familiar with. So we'll see how many shots ptoil has to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 or 6. So pretty nice stand up from ptoil. And now we just have an escape. Just have to wait for Mother Brain to disintegrate. And oh no, what's happening? The planet has decided to kerplode. So ptoil has to run through the back door while all these pirates like lazily stand around, just having no regard for the emergency in front of them. But I guess talk about dedication to Mother Brain as far as not leaving the planet. All right, and ptoil getting through the tail end of the Leodoc's room here. Ready to spark up the shaft. Nice short charge there. It's going to have to get another one going, though, because bonked off that platform there. Gets it that time. And has re-entered the parlor. Now, will ptoil save the animals? We all hope not, but you never know what people are going to do. And no, the animals will be left on the planet. Ptoil jumps back onto the ship and has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 26 seconds. So good game to ptoil. Very nice run. Very impressive. All right, and with that, ptoil has improved to 2-2, I believe, for the next set of Swiss. Mumudidi, I think, goes to 1-3 at this point. Ptoil does not want to come in for an interview, and that is okay. So that's really going to do it for this race. Of course, make sure that you come back for more races today. Again, the next race is in an hour and a half, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Aussie 101 versus Zost. So that should be a really good race. So make sure you keep coming back into SpeedGaming so you can see more Super Metroid. And before we get going, make sure if you didn't already throughout this run that you give these guys a follow. Of course, everybody in the Super Metroid community, extremely nice and helpful, always willing to help out, always willing to be entertaining. So give these guys. One last shout out to the multi-category tournament sponsors, Balls Guarana and Mega Cat Studios, for putting up the prize purse for the multi-category tournament. Thank you guys so much. I am Android Dreams. Thank you for joining me for this race and for letting me do commentary. And I'm sure I will see you guys again soon.